Welcome to the doghouse. I hope you're all having a great day or evening or whatever time you're listening this to. This is going to be about evil. Evil comes to a small town, evil comes to big towns. Evil has no friends. Evil will never have a friend in his life or her life. Evil has no preference on who they go after or what they go after. If you're into evil, that's all you care about. And when you're into evil, you are the one that hates yourself so bad that you have to try to let that take over other people. In other words, you want them to be as miserable as you are at all times. You cannot stand somebody peaceful and loving. This is not your MO if you're into evil. People can go out and say they're a Christian or their religious belief or whatever their beliefs are. In this case, I'm going to use a Christian. You can't go out and say you're a Christian and do evil. You can't go out and say you're a Christian and the next day you repeat because you're saying, God will forgive me for whatever I do. That don't mean he's going to repeat it every day. He knows when you mean it and when you don't. That's if you believe in God. Even if you do not believe in God, it's the same principle. You go say you're not going to do it again and turn around and do it again. People realize what you and they are doing when you do this. It's not a rocket science at all to figure that out. But evil comes in many shapes and forms. Evil can be right up front. Evil can be done behind people's back. Evil can be, well, it is dishonest anyway. More dishonest than other times, depending on the level of evil you go. Stealing a candy bar is evil. Going beating somebody up is even more evil. Both are evil, both are wrong. So, and you have all kinds of people out there, different stages of evil, but it's still evil, which means it's still wrong. You cannot go out there and say you're a Christian by words and refuse to live it by what you do. You are only fooling yourself and maybe people following you, fooling them. Because some people do need a mentor or a hero or whatever you want to call them. And even if you're doing wrong, they need that. They are so down on themselves, they need that hero in their life. And if it's a hero that is doing evil, they don't care. Because they know that they can follow you and get things from you like never before. But what they don't understand, you would throw them under the bus as quick as could be. If it meant you or them, it will be them. That is what evil does. Evil don't care who you are. Evil in itself is an entity, in my opinion. You can say you're not evil and go out and do evil, doesn't make it the truth. It makes you still evil regardless. You got to get to the point where evil is not part of your life. It is hard, 100%, because evil will always be part of your life because of the people and your surroundings. You can go in parts of the country, there's more evil, and there's less evil in some other areas, but all areas have evil in them. It's when you get an evil person that wants to dictate to others what to do. A person is so tied up in their beliefs of being so evil, they're going to take down innocent people with them. Why? They have no soul, they have no remorse. I don't care if they say they're a Christian, they're not. Evil will never cease to exist on earth. But it's up to you to recognize it and don't participate. It's a simple solution out there if we just want to follow it. Evil has no friends, like I said. They have acquaintances. We've seen people on here and other channels and the whole bit, not even on here. You can go down your neighborhood. You can find people that have that evil thought in their head. And some do say they're Christian, which they're not. Some people say that, give an excuse, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. Will have an excuse as to why they are evil. It don't matter what that excuse is, they're still evil. I hear things like, well, they come from bad parents. Their parents didn't care for them that much. Their parents didn't give them discipline when they needed it. All these are excuses because that individual, as an adult, even as a teen, has to take responsibility for what they do. And if they are doing evil, it is on them, not nobody else. An excuse don't change the fact evil is evil. We often try to use it when we do evil to make it look better, but it really is not. Evil is going to be here the rest of our life. Evil will be with you, but it's how you control it and walk away. I see people on here that are so bad and so evil, they think it's funny and they're right, but they're using that evil to destroy people and try to use the excuse they are a Christian and this is what they can do. You may be a Christian or whatever other religious belief you are other than Christian, you're still not God. You don't have the right to do what God did. You have the right to do as He see fit if you believe in God. Even if you don't, the principle, and I have friends that don't believe in God at all, but there's principles there you follow anyway, whether He exists or He don't exist. And one thing you have to do is fight evil. Evil is everywhere around us. You see people doing this for many reasons. You see people on here piling on other people because they're making money off of it. And that is evil. They have replaced God with money. And that's sad when you do that. Some people will go after a child to get to the parents, and they don't care that they're hurting that child. They say, well, I have to do this to protect the child. But what they are doing is causing problems for the child in the future. But if you're evil, you won't care. You may preach like you care, but you really don't. Your words and your actions are two different things. You're not following both together. You're separating your words from your actions. Your words sound good, your actions are bad. And we all see that even in our neighborhoods. This happens all the time. A good example is Jim Jones. His word may have sounded good, but what was his actions? Nothing what his words were. So sometimes evil people have really, really good words and a slick tongue and can get you to believe them at all cost. But when their actions come into existence, they're not so good. They're evil. Evil every day of our lives, we have to seek out evil for ourselves anyway. We see it. But if we close our heads and stick our head in the sand and don't realize when evil's there, we become part of the problem and not the solution. And one thing about evil, I guess, at least the evil people think so, they can pat themselves on the back and say they're doing a good job. Well, Lucifer likes that, but that's about it. You have to root out evil in several different ways. I mean, you can do it up front, you can do it individually, or whatever, but you have to root evil and recognize evil at all times. If we don't, we're in a very bad spot in our lives. Because when we let evil dictate to us what we are doing, all we're doing is falling for evil and doing what evil wants. Evil can't control good. You can control good. You also control evil. If you want to go down that path, that means you yourself has chosen that path and no one else. You can't blame somebody for going down the path of evil. Regardless of what the circumstances is, you're your own person. And you have to realize that is your choice and nobody else's. Regardless of what is thrown at you at all times, it's still your choice on what you do. Evil has no place in our society, but it exists. In other words, we may not be able to get rid of it. It is there. So how do you get rid of evil? You recognize it. You see it. You stand up against it. Regardless. Because evil people find ways to get more evil. And one way they get more evil, and I don't care how much money you make on here or anywhere else, but some people get more evil because they see dollar signs. They will actually go beg for money. And most evil people, there is a few that will, but most evil people out there will spew evil, discontent, and hate to get that money. That is what an evil person does. There's a few slick ones out there that can do this, and you won't recognize them as evil. A good evil person has a forked tongue. They can convince you of anything they want, and you will follow them. Because they prey on the weak. They prey on older people a lot of times. They prey on them that they know they can influence directly or indirectly. See, evil people can get a following and really not say much to them, but get them to follow. Because they are weak. Things have happened in their lives that make them weak. But there are some that are not weak that evil can get to go to. You can have a very smart person, and it don't happen a lot, but you can have a very, very smart person out there, and the evil person is just a little bit smarter and can get that person to follow. See, they don't care what you do as long as you do what they want. Because an evil person 100% needs people that they can throw under the bus when it comes that time. Because they're not going to do this on their own. Evil people love other people doing things for them. Evil people want others to do their dirty work. Even though they will do the dirty work too, they'd much rather have a group of people out there that are willing to go out and do the dirty work for them. And these are low IQ people, and I don't mean an IQ test, by the way. I mean their actions in their lives been very low IQ. I think that's used a little too much, low IQ in that sense, as far as your IQ is stupid. I'm talking about IQ of reality, which is a little bit different. Because if you're really smart and fall for evil like this, your IQ may not be that smart in reality. Anybody can pass a test, anybody can fail a test. So, IQ is IQ. And when I'm talking about IQ, that's what I mean. You can have a high IQ, but have a stupid IQ in reality. And evil, those that out there doing evil love that because they know they can control you, manipulate you, get them to do what you want, and you don't even know it half the time. They are really, really good at that. They're as good as the old West snake oil salesman. A lot of these people know what they're doing is wrong, but when they see that dollar sign and the dollar becomes God to them, they will sacrifice all for that reason. It's a shame they do it, but it's done all the time. It's too bad evil does that, but you have to be the one prepared to fight against evil, whether it's small or large. Like I said, some things that are evil is not a big deal, but it's still evil. You got them that are really, really bad, and still they're evil too. But we have to decide in our lives if evil is what we want to go with or not. Evils don't care about you. Evil really don't. They care less about you and what you do. Evil's going to be there, like I said earlier. It's not going away, but you are the one that controls it for your life. Don't go out there and say, well, I had to do evil because it was there and that's all I could do. That is a choice. And sometimes it's an excuse, but it's still a choice. And it's nobody's choice on what you do except you. And that's where evil loves you, because evil likes people that can follow them. Evil likes people that don't think for themselves. Evil likes people that is in misery. Evil likes people that may not be as smart as others. All these type of people you can manipulate and control. Very much manipulate and control them. And that's exactly what happens. Evil don't want somebody that thinks for themselves, because evil does not like to be questioned. Evil dislikes misery and people that are miserable. And evil wants you to follow that path. Not the path of good, not the path of right, but evil. Evil is on our mind all the time, by the way, in our minds too. We can't get away from that. But we don't let it out. We're not an evil person. We may have them thoughts, but most of us don't let them thoughts out and act up on them. But evil don't like you to go against it at all. If evil can get people to follow them through thick and thin, they will. Because evil will always be there, but you control you're evil or not evil. That is your choice. But why evil likes these type of people is control. Evil likes control. And one thing that is controllable in evil is money. Money can be good and used for good, but money controls evil, or evil controls money anyway. That is one form of evil you can do. And there's people out there that's just evil. It has nothing to do with dollars and cents. They're wired to be evil regardless. It's still their choice to do so, but they just choose to do evil. They are so miserable They don't care who they take down with them, as any evil does. But sometimes evil that don't have money can be very, very dangerous people. And I'm sure every one of you has seen somebody like that. And I don't I understand, but I don't understand why somebody would go to that length. Because we don't need to be evil. But evil is there. Evil comes to small towns. Evil comes to big towns. Evil can come in the middle of nowhere because evil has no friends. Evil may say they have friends, but evil does not have friends. Evil may find somebody to throw under the bus and act like they're their friends, but they're really not. Because evil will not stand up for you if you get caught on doing something. Evil will step aside like they don't even know you. This is what evil does. Evil will always do stuff like that on a constant basis. And evil does love one thing. He loves a sucker. He loves a sucker he can bring into his fold. Because the more evil, the more merrier. The more evil, the more happier the evil is. But the evil just don't understand how much evil hates itself. And it really does. Evil really hates itself. But evil is so miserable that evil has to keep finding ways to get more people to be miserable. They don't want friends. They want people to make miserable. If that means throwing them a few dollars or whatever, they can do that. But they know in the end everything is miserable. They're miserable. And they want everybody around them to be miserable. They do not want anybody to get ahead in life, nor will they let anybody get ahead in life. Because misery likes company, and it really does. Evil likes company because evil knows it can bring misery, heartache, whether you're a good person or a bad person. That evil will come into your life if you let it and destroy you. It will destroy you from one end to the other if you let it. When you stick up for evil, you are down the wrong path. Evil likes you to get on here or around your neighborhood and show how ignorant you are and how miserable you are inside. That is creating the misery you have within you by being evil. The more evil you are, the more people you take with you. And Lucifer loves that. So you're doing his work. You're not doing God's work. You're doing his work. And you're patting yourself on the back for it. That's a shame that you do this. Misery does like company, other misery. They don't like somebody that's not evil. Evil gets in their evil, good gets in their way at all times. They don't care. I take that back. They do care. If somebody good gets in their way, they do not like that. They will try to destroy the good if they can't turn them to evil. They will do that on a constant basis because the evil has to rule in their mind. Because of the misery in their hearts and their souls, they have to go out there every day and show the world that everybody has to be as miserable as they are. They don't want you to go down the path of good at all because it destroys their motives if you do that. So therefore, they want you to be miserable and they want you to be evil like they are. But evil don't like evil. They really don't. An evil person don't like an evil person. They will tolerate them, trying to think that they're going to get the advantage of them. They may even pat them on the back and say, "Good work." And they really don't mean that, because evil's misery is the worst thing there is. People that go out and wind up in jail, the majority of them, there's a few that's not, but the majority of them have done evil things, and their actions were evil and they got caught. But there's more out there that do actions of evil that have never been caught, and they make excuses, and they probably never will get caught, at least in our time, but they are still miserable, and they still hate themselves, and they will never get over hating themselves. They will even deny it, but the truth is there. They still will hate themselves. At all costs, they hate. They may think they're the world's greatest because they're doing evil, and sometimes evil people think they're doing good, but they're not. They have convinced themselves, even though they're evil, they are doing good, and everything they do makes it justifiable. Because in their mind, that evil they have in them is good, and they will justify it. They'll justify a piece of the Bible, they'll justify anything, even though they're still doing evil. They have to have a reason why they are doing evil, and they try to find that in their souls. But if you have an evil soul, it won't matter. It's still evil. Evil is evil and will always exist. The question is, are you going to participate or not? This is up to you 100%. Nobody can get you to change your own mind. They can say this or this, and you can listen, but still, ultimately, the decision, if you want to be evil, it's up to you. If you want to do good, it's up to you. It's not up to anybody else but yourself. So please, please don't go down the path of evil. Go down the path of good. Do what is right. Do what is good. Because we don't need more evil people. We need more compassion, caring people in our country or our world. The more good we get out of people, the less evil we will have. And yes, it takes work sometimes to be the good and not evil. Evil is a shortcut. It really is. Because sometimes you have to work harder at being good than evil. Evil will come more naturally a lot of times, and sometimes we kind of sucker ourselves into it, but we know better, and we get ourselves out of it. So evil will always, like I said, always will be there. It's always going to be your choice whether you want to go down that road or not. You have to choose for yourself if you want to go down that road. Your choice, your life. But when you choose evil, you're trying to take everybody else down with you. But you can't take a good person down with you, regardless of how you try. So go ahead, be evil, and you have to answer to a higher being than you at some point. And there's no overs at that point.